AM 630. WMAL.
637 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson with you. We're joined on the line now by Jose Rodriguez, former director of the National Clandestine Services at CIA. He's got a new book out called Hard Measures, How Aggressive CIA Actions After 9/11 Saved American Lives. You probably saw the interview that Jose did with Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes a couple of weeks ago.
Pretty compelling stuff.
Raised some eyebrows. Mr. Rodriguez, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brian. And Brian, how are you all?
We're doing well.
All right, the first question I have to ask you, you were in the CIA for 30 years. You headed up a very important, the Counterterrorism Center in the early days right after 9/11, a very important job and role in the CIA. Why are you writing a book?
I am writing the book because, as you know, I was subjected to a 3-year criminal investigation because of my part in the destruction of some tapes. And during that period of time, I felt I needed to tell my side of the story. But more importantly, I saw all of the confusion and misstatements of fact related to our interrogation programs, and I felt I needed to go on record to really tell the American people the real story behind what we did after 9/11.
Okay, so what is the definition of aggressive CIA actions? I mean, we heard about dietary manipulation and sleep deprivation. I don't think any Americans care about that. The big argument always seemed to be about waterboarding. Is that what is considered aggressive CIA actions? What is that?
Yes, if you look at the techniques, there are 10 techniques. Out of the 10, 8 are actually pretty wimpy. 2, sleep deprivation and waterboarding, can be considered a little rougher. Waterboarding, however, has been mischaracterized all along because, you know, the press has compared it to what the Khmer Rouge or the Japanese did during World War II, which has nothing to do with our program. Our program was based on the SEER program, which is a U.S. military training program to train our own troops, and tens of thousands of U.S. servicemen have been waterboarded as a result of this program. So those are the 2 that are the most harsh.
All right, did it work?
Yes, it worked. And, you know, it's just amazing to me that there's even a dispute about this because there's so much on the record regarding the information obtained and the plots that were stopped and the terrorists that were captured that is just overwhelming.
Can you make a connection between the interrogations that were done and the ultimate capture of Osama bin Laden and killing of
Yes, and we do in the book. You know, there was a 10-year effort, and there was a lot of work done by a lot of people from actually even different agencies, but the start of this started in our black sites with the interrogation of, in particular, one, but there were a couple others that provided insights into the courier that was Osama bin Laden's courier.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
the roots of that began way back when you were doing that enhanced interrogation. All right, so let me ask you this other question. I said capture, but of course Osama bin Laden was killed, and a lot of people are saying maybe we should have tried to capture him and other people within the compound because we could have mined it for additional intelligence. Do you have an opinion about that?
Yeah, you know, we were always under the mindset from the very beginning that if we ever found bin Laden, he would be killed. I mean, he was the one person that we thought would never be taken alive and that he would be killed. Yes, my concern is that we do not capture anybody anymore. We use the Predator to kill them.
The drones.
Mm-hmm.
And we're losing a lot of intelligence as a result. But bin Laden himself, I think, was an exception. I think he was the one guy, because he was the symbolic part of the whole Al-Qaeda that he probably needed to die.
All right, real quick about the latest underwear bombing incident. A lot of people have looked at some of the reporting that followed on that underwear bombing, the story that broke last week, and did we learn too much? Did we put people at risk? You've looked at those stories, no doubt, very closely. What's your sense of that?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, just when our government thinks that we have defeated Al-Qaeda, we get reminded that this enemy will not stop trying to kill us. and that it's a big mistake to declare victory and become compliant. A big mistake to unilaterally disarm and give up capabilities like capturing high-level al-Qaeda and interrogating terrorists, because we may need this technique someday to save American lives. And the second part is, I do think that a lot of information is given when we talk about these things. I mean, I was horrified just by reading the press accounts how much information there's out there, so we got to be careful.
All right, 2 questions before I let you go. Number one, what would you define as torture?
Well, our heroes, Congressional Medal of Honor winners who have been actually imprisoned and tortured, even with McCain way back during the Vietnam War, declare it or say that torture is the breaking of bones, the splattering of blood on the walls, the passing out from pain. That's the type of pain, intense pain, that torture is. That's their definition.
And your definition would be?
Well, I would follow with
okay.
what they say.
But there is a line, as far as you're concerned.
Oh, yes, there is a line, of course.
Okay. The last question I have for you is that you said when we started the conversation, you said, well, you were out and you came out here to defend yourself. There was a great feeling several years ago, and I don't necessarily know if it's still there today, although I would like to know that, is that there are CIA agents out there who are worried about that, worried about being prosecuted by their own government for things that they are doing to try and get information out of detainees. How big of a problem is that right now in the CIA?
It is a problem. I just spoke maybe 2-3 weeks ago with one of the individuals caught up still in this investigation. He just cannot believe that his own government is going after him. He has spent a lot of money, of course, and the whole burden of being under a criminal investigation is something that I wouldn't want anybody to go through. Our psychologists who helped us on this program have lost jobs, have lost reputation. One of the biggest regrets I have is that I was not able to defend these people better. I feel very badly for them, and I will continue to work until their name is cleared as well.
Well, Jose Rodriguez, thank you for joining us. Jose Rodriguez is the former director of the National Clandestine Service of the CIA.